was something special about you warming up with the American flag around your shoulder, too. We were watching that. There was something special about watching you shadow box before all this with the American flag on. I was like, if he wins, good Lord. If he wins tonight, it's going to be fucking insane. And it was. Is the feeling of, like, joy throughout the building, throughout the grounds, like the happiness that everybody had seen, had been there to see such an incredible event and such an amazing cap to that event with your fight. It was just nuts.
It felt like a whole arena to me. It was crazy for the amount of people that you could see.
And here it is, to backflip in front of the fucking White House.
Dude, he flagpole.
Hey, that's gonna be a sick.
Dude, you flagpole.
That's a sick picture. I rolled out of it.
It was. Hey, tell me what was it? Tell me what'd you use? Newton's law.
Newton's first law. Object in motion needs to stay. I just stayed in motion.
Stay in motion.
That's all it is.
Look at the size of that fucking crowd that was outside.
So you couldn't see this crowd. Like I couldn't see this crowd. But
you know what, though?
You
could hear them and you could feel them.
Dude,
you could feel the energy. I mean, even though there was only 4,000 people, did not feel like 4,000 people. It felt like 100,000 people because all those people were behind us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was different.
How many people were in that place?
85,000 plus. Yeah.
It happened so fast.
The size of the group outside was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're watching on these giant screens and freaking out.
Like a concert.
Yeah.
When we were at the weigh-ins, it was like, dude, that's what I pictured like Woodstock being like. Dude, I looked and I could not see the end of the people.
Yeah. It was nuts. The weigh-ins were nuts. When we first walked out, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. But it just shows how hyped people were for this event. You know, I mean, it was an incredible event. I mean, the UFC production team, they just knocked it out of the park. And then more importantly, you knocked it out of the park.
It could not have gone better.
Cap. It couldn't have gone better. And the most important thing was that you did have to overcome. That we did see a real back and forth. And we did see the skills that led people to believe that this guy is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I mean, his fucking boxing is elite. It is
sharpshooter. And
but, I mean, my coach is a fucking genius. I mean, when it comes to, like, again, it's really hard to... you always sound right in hindsight, but the strategy we had was so perfect to fight a guy like that. I mean, I think if you ask him right now, which way was Justin moving, he's gonna think I was moving right the whole time because my head is so heavy and I lean over to that side. But I was moving left the entire time, and he's so pointed that he's powerful here, but when you put him here, like nobody can push and sprint. Like he's not ever gonna take off sprinting that way as fast as he can. He's gonna have to gather and reset and then point and then go. And I constantly kept readjusting him, and it was so subtle. And that's what fighting is subtle movements. But I mean, his game plan was and then his game plan, his mind, my ability, but really it's my athletic ability. Like if people don't understand how athletic I am, and I think that is what surprises every opponent I've ever fought, is how herky-jerky, twitchy, how explosive, and how athletic I am. And I think that's the biggest asset that I have.
Why do you think anybody be surprised by that at this stage? Why do you think they're surprised?
Because it doesn't look like that.
No, Justin, I think you're looking into the Patty fight. I feel like the Patty fight, because a lot of people are like, oh, you look older, you look this, because the way we fought, like our style, our game plan with Patty fight.
How sweet is that now? I mean, if you watch the Patty fight, you would only expect punches coming from here. That's all I threw.
Because he would pull.
And I had to like wrangle him in.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, no shot
like
came
palm
here.
strikes. Like we need to palm strike him. We need to keep him inside of our loop. And if you're throwing straight shots at Patty, Patty will disengage very long with his upper body. So he was throwing wild shots and then long uppercuts. Like stay on the outside when you're throwing the uppercuts because Patty's got very good knees coming in. So we can't get too deep with the head. Very simple plan, but also it was like make it chaotic. As most chaotic as you could be to be able to do that. Because Patty, his blitzing was very fast. He's a very good blitzer. He'll blitz past you and almost like running type of punches like old Vitor Belfort. But this fight is a lot different where it's now elbows in. We have to be tight in these types of positions, and we need to step to his center and get on his back foot line or outside of his back foot line. And that was like a key factor to this one, is because Ilia is very front heavy and will bounce back and forth. So once he goes to this angle, we need to attack the rear shoulder. And once he starts to reset, now we're going to be able to jab and stick the jab at the rear shoulder where your jab was landing. That's my favorite part, is the jab wasn't landing here where Ilia's got a very good slide. We're jabbing outside, so you're not doing inside jab coming under. You're jabbing from outside your shoulder, which is pushing him on his rear foot. And then once we started to pressure, my favorite part is the jab, pause, right hand. His left foot, Justin's left foot, when we go, has to be outside his rear foot, like right there. He opened his lead foot and he got his foot outside, and that's also so in case the right hand counter.
That was a giant moment in the fight when he landed that right
Dude,
hand.
the sound of it was crazy.
I wanted to sub his ass.
Boom. Yep.
Oh, that was such a hard shot.
Do that one more time, Jamie, and watch his lead foot after the jab. Now watch his left foot after the jab, outside the rear foot. Boom. And that because he's got a high shoulder. If I'm throwing a right hand down this point, if you were looking at me, Joe, if I'm here. If he gets his foot out, now the shot is coming from here. So we're able to put him on the back foot and find that over. Because Ilia's got a very good shoulder tuck.
He also dropped that right hand down.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And it was such a giant moment in the fight.
Like, look where I started. I started with my back to us, and look how left.
But if you go out to the left, backwards, that's where Ilia, to me, is the best. How he stopped Volk, where he'll throw at you, and then you go, and then he readjusts his lead shoulder almost to a southpaw. Super dangerous there. That was one thing we talk about. We cannot go backwards to the left because that's where we get square. And Ilia, dude, he's very front heavy, so he will attack you quick, and he gets there fast.
Well, if he can recover from this, it's going to be a big lesson lesson learned. And, I wonder if he'll still have those celebration dinners the night before.
There's no way.
He better not, dude. His team. That's up to his coaches, to be honest with you.
It's amazing. Hubris is an amazing thing. Like people love that kind of confidence. They love that belief in themselves. And when someone pulls it off, people were talking for days about the Oliveira fight. He celebrated the night before. Isn't that crazy?
And it worked that time, and it played out great for him.
But the lack of experience being the nail, so much experience being the hammer.